Y'all, grab your popcorn, 'cause the tea today is boiling hot, and I'm telling you, this one's going to shake you to your core. Just when you thought you'd heard it all, the news drops that no one saw coming. John MacArthur, the towering figure of evangelical Christianity, the man whose sermons have shaped the faith of millions, is lying in a hospital bed in critical condition. Yes, you heard that right. And what makes this even more shocking? The tight-lipped secrecy surrounding his health and the overwhelming uncertainty about his future. Now, for those who might not know, John MacArthur isn't just any pastor. This man is a legend in evangelical circles. He's been preaching for over 50 years. His radio broadcast reaches millions, and his books are practically considered holy in many Christian homes. He's the voice that thousands of believers look to for truth, guidance, and scripture. But today, that powerful voice has been silenced, and the questions are piling up faster than we can keep up. What exactly happened? Why the secrecy? And more importantly, what's next for Grace Community Church? It all started just a few days ago. On a seemingly normal Sunday morning at Grace Community Church in Sun Valley, California. The church was packed as usual, the air was thick with anticipation. And the congregation was ready for their weekly dose of John MacArthur's hard-hitting sermons. But then, bam, the announcement came. It wasn't from MacArthur. It wasn't the usual fiery voice that leads the church. No, this time it was from Associate Pastor Austin Duncan, and his tone was unsettling. With a somber look on his face, he shared the devastating news. Pastor MacArthur was unable to be with them due to a serious medical issue. That's it. No details, no explanations, just that. The room immediately filled with confusion. Longtime members exchanged uneasy glances, some in disbelief, others in pure concern. Y'all, you could feel the air change in that moment. Something wasn't right. Within hours, social media exploded. I mean, it was everywhere. Tweets, Reddit, threads, and blurry Instagram stories flooded the internet. People were speculating, was this just a normal health issue for a man in his 80s? Was it related to his past health struggles? Or was this more than what they were telling us? It didn't take long for rumors to spread like wildfire. And here's where things get even more mysterious. Just days earlier, MacArthur had appeared in public, preaching, meeting with members, recording his radio broadcast like everything was fine. So what happened in those 48 hours? According to some sources close to the church, and y'all know we always dig deep for this kind of tea, Pastor MacArthur reportedly collapsed at home. And in an incredibly secretive manner, he was rushed to a private medical facility. No ambulances, no media notices. Everything was done under strict confidentiality. That's right. No one saw it coming. And y'all, the biggest question on everyone's mind is, why the secrecy? Why haven't we gotten an official health update from the church? Why are even the staff members hesitant to talk? Now, let me tell you something. The church community's reaction was not what anyone expected. When the announcement came, the silence was almost deafening. Grace Community Church, which is used to being filled with the passionate voices of worship and prayer, was suddenly still. People didn't know what to do. Hands gripped Bibles a little tighter. Eyes were filled with tears. For many of these churchgoers, John MacArthur isn't just their pastor. It's like a spiritual father. Some of these families have been coming to Grace Community for decades, raised on his teachings, restored through his counsel. Y'all, when you've followed someone for so long, when you've trusted their guidance through life's most difficult times, the thought of losing them is unthinkable. And now, the reality of possibly losing him, it's breaking hearts. In a powerful show of unity, the church immediately entered into prayer. Groups of people gathered around the sanctuary, on their knees, hands held tight, voices trembling. It was raw, it was honest, it was beautiful. And outside the church walls, the emotional ripple was just as strong. Thousands of people, not just from Grace Community, but from churches around the world, took to Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag Pray for MacArthur. Thousands of believers united, praying for healing, praying for a miracle. It didn't matter if they agreed with MacArthur's more hardline theology, he was still a pillar of truth to many. But here's the twist. As if this situation wasn't dramatic enough, some insider sources leaked information. That's right. A private message from someone close to the MacArthur family made its way to the internet. And baby, this is where the tea gets real. The message revealed something we weren't expecting. Apparently, John MacArthur hadn't just been suddenly ill. No. According to the leak, he had been unwell for weeks, but he didn't want to alarm anyone. He refused to step down, refused to cancel speaking engagements, and insisted he had a duty to fulfill. Y'all, he was pushing through a cardiac episode and untreated pneumonia, all while preaching and meeting with members. Can you even imagine? And now, everyone is asking the same questions. Why? Why didn't the church let anyone know? Was he pressured to keep going? Was his health secondary to the image of leadership? Some are even suggesting that this could be a major cultural issue within the church, one that mirrors a similar situation back in 2020, when MacArthur made headlines for defying California's shutdown orders. Was this the same kind of stubborn courage, or was it a dangerous refusal to admit weakness? But hold on, there's more. Remember that former intern who anonymously shared their account with a Christian watchdog blog? Apparently, MacArthur had been visibly struggling behind the scenes. They saw him coughing, out of breath, leaning on staff for support, but he didn't want anyone to know. He didn't want to appear frail in front of his congregation. And yet, week after week, he climbed those stairs, opened his Bible, and preached like nothing was wrong. This image of MacArthur preaching through pain is both inspiring and heartbreaking. It's the kind of thing that makes you question the burden of leadership. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, there's this. The leaked message ended with a chilling line. This may be his final season. Please prepare your hearts. Y'all, I don't even know what to say about that. Is this an acknowledgement of a terminal illness? Are we really witnessing the final chapter of John MacArthur's ministry? Or is there still hope for a miraculous recovery? You can't help but wonder, as the days go by, the church's silence only adds to the mystery. There's no official statement, no video update, just vague encouragements to pray and trust God's timing. But the questions keep coming. What happens next? MacArthur doesn't recover? Who will lead Grace Community? Church? The succession plan has been a topic of speculation for years, and now people are starting to worry. Is there even one? Will the church survive without him? Sources say that behind closed doors, discussions are already underway about what will happen if John MacArthur can't return. Will it be Associate Pastor Austin Duncan, who has filled in for MacArthur in the past? Will it be Dr. Abner Cho, the president of the Masters University, who's seen by some as the future of grace? Or will the church adopt a more shared leadership model? Either way, Grace Community is at a crossroads, and the pressure is mounting. And let's not forget, MacArthur isn't just a church leader. He's a brand. His radio broadcasts, books, and conferences bring in millions. If his voice is gone, can the brand survive? Sources suggest that the church is already recording preaching. Volt's trying to keep his teachings alive even after he's gone. Will it work? The questions keep piling up, and so does the uncertainty. But here's the kicker. MacArthur's family just broke their silence and their statement. It was emotional, but also cryptic. They didn't confirm or deny anything. They just asked for prayers. But what does that mean for the future? So, what do you think? Is this the end of an era for John MacArthur and Grace Community Church? Will the church be able to move on without him? Or is this just the beginning of a massive shift in evangelical Christianity? Drop your thoughts below, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Because this story isn't over yet, and trust me, y'all, there's more to come. Stay tuned. Why single quotes all just when you thought the drama couldn't get any more intense? bam, here comes the twist. And baby, the plot keeps thickening. So, we know John MacArthur's sudden health crisis has shaken everyone to their core. But what we didn't expect is a growing speculation surrounding Grace Community Church's future. You're going to want to stick with me, because this next bit is going to have you questioning everything. Now, we've already talked about the mystery behind MacArthur's health, the heart attack, the pneumonia, the secretive medical treatments. But the truth behind this situation is starting to slip through the cracks. And people are asking some serious questions. Why hasn't the church been more transparent? Why didn't they prepare the congregation for what's coming? Is this secrecy part of a bigger agenda? Or is this simply the church trying to protect their beloved pastor from the weight of public concern? I can already feel the buzz around this. You've got people on one side saying, this is just privacy, y'all. Let the man heal. Then you've got the other camp that's like, why didn't they say something sooner? They knew he was struggling. They knew he was in pain. So why the silence? It's left too many. Many questions unanswered. Was this more about MacArthur's stubborn courage to lead his flock? Or did it come at the cost of his health and well-being? Was he under pressure from the church leadership to keep going, to keep preaching, to keep being the rock everyone's depended on for decades? And then, oh my God, we've got rumors that are circulating from deep within the church leadership. I'm talking about whispers that MacArthur's unwillingness to step down might not just be about pride or duty. Sources close to the situation are saying that there could be a deep-seated power struggle happening behind closed doors. We know that Grace Community Church has operated for years with a singular, powerful leader at the helm. But if MacArthur can't return, what's next? And y'all, it's not pretty, you see. As much as MacArthur has been the face of Grace Community, and as much as his doctrine has shaped the church, there's no clear succession plan in place. And that, my friends, is a problem. The rumors are now running wild that there's a silent battle for leadership taking place behind the scenes. Who will take over? Who can fill the MacArthur-sized shoes? Some insiders believe that Associate Pastor Austin Duncan is the obvious choice. He's loyal, aligned with MacArthur's theology, and has preached in his absence. But y'all, here's the catch. Austin Duncan might have the respect of the congregation, but there's a concern. Does he have the same power? Can he command the same presence from the pulpit as MacArthur did? Does he have that same fiery energy, that uncompromising stance on truth that made MacArthur a pillar in evangelical circles? People are wondering if Duncan has the MacArthur magic to keep Grace Community Church intact. Then there's Dr. Abner Cho, who is a younger, more intellectual alternative. Some are saying he's the future, a bridge between the old school rigidity of MacArthur's theology and the new generation's thirst for cultural relevance. But here's the thing, y'all. Some members feel like Dr. Cho might be too intellectual for the congregation that has always followed MacArthur's straightforward, no-nonsense approach. Can Dr. Cho bring that same fire to the pulpit? Will the younger generation connect with him in the same way they've connected with MacArthur for years? But here's where things get really juicy. There are some people behind the scenes who believe Grace Community should move away from the idea of a single leader and instead have a rotation of elders share the responsibility. A team approach. I know, this is radical for a church that's been led by one man for decades. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Maybe the future lies in a more collaborative model where no one person has to carry the entire weight of leadership. But y'all, this model is foreign to Grace Community's culture. They've known John MacArthur for so long. They've always turned to him for answers. A change in leadership like that could fracture the church in ways we can't even imagine. And then hold your breath, because I'm about to hit you with the real kicker, the church board. They're divided, and not just a little divided. We're talking a serious theological rift here, y'all. Some people want to stick to the strict doctrines MacArthur has taught for so long, like his stance on gender roles, cessationism, the belief that certain spiritual gifts ceased after the early church, and his Calvinist theology. But hold up, others are pushing for adaptation. They're saying, the culture's changing, we need to change too. The next leader has to be able to engage with the culture, not just preach at it. Do you see what's happening here? There's a theological divide brewing within the church that could shake it to its core. But as all this speculation swirls, the bigger question looms. What happens if MacArthur doesn't return? What will happen to the Grace Community Church? Legacy, the foundation that MacArthur built, the empire he created. Will it survive without him? And here's the chilling truth, y'all. There's no clear successor. No one is prepared to step up and fill his shoes. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any juicier, let me hit you with this final twist. A former church intern shared some deep secrets with a Christian watchdog blog, claiming that in the weeks leading up to MacArthur's collapse, he had been struggling backstage, coughing, short of breath, leaning on staff for support, and still he kept preaching for weeks. The intern claims he didn't want to look weak. He wanted to be strong for his people. And y'all, this is where things get emotional. MacArthur's stubbornness to keep going, to keep leading even when he was physically fading, is both awe-inspiring and heartbreaking. You know what's crazy? As the intern described it, MacArthur was literally preaching through pain. He refused to step down. He didn't want to admit vulnerability to the people he had spent years leading. And now, people are wondering if that stoic courage was admirable, or if it was dangerous. And here's the most haunting part of it all. The leaked message that came out, which stated, this may be his final season. Please prepare your hearts. Y'all, this line hit hard. Is it time to say goodbye to John MacArthur? Are we witnessing the end of an era in evangelical Christianity? Or is this just another chapter in the story of an incredible man of faith, a leader whose impact will echo for generations to come? So, let me ask you this, y'all. What do you think? Will Grace Community Church survive without its spiritual father at the helm? Can the church carry on MacArthur's legacy? Or are we seeing the beginning of the end? What does it mean for the future of evangelicalism? Will MacArthur's health crises push the church to rethink its entire leadership structure? Drop your comments below, share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit that like button, because, trust me, this story is far from over. We're all watching, and the next twist could be just around the corner. Make sure to subscribe because we're keeping you updated on everything happening in Grace Community Church and beyond. Stay tuned.